Well, that's a long way to get around with it, folks, but that she got to it. So yeah, it's good that you found your own way. Some people they need guidance, especially when they get into a new path. Sometimes they look at somebody who they follow or look at somebody who knows about this stuff. It's just there's so much to understand. I'm just basic guy. I just eat, breathe, shit, die. That's about for me. But really you found your way, and I think it's a way that works for you. It may not work for everybody else, but it's something that people have to be acceptable to or being willing to accept it. Especially social media. We remember yesterday we had to talk about social media, how social media is both a weapon and a tool. It's a way people can get information, but also people use it in wise. Like anytime I do my interview, especially when I go to your social medias, I tell guys don't send these ladies dick pics because I've conversation I have with ladies, guys are kind of weird. And you also, like I said, again, you did a lot of the fetish stuff, you get all the photos off. That's where, like, it's true for the guys who follow women's bodybuilding do follow most of those sites and that's why I call them the meat websites. That's what they are. We all know that, but it's a way, instead again, for it to make money. Maybe not good money for everybody, but some people got a way to make a profit for themselves, to try to make a living. If bodybuilding was more like a mainstream sport, where in which you can make a living off of it, where you don't have to. Some ladies I know have to work two jobs. Some women have to save if they want to compete, and there's so much to it. It can be both stressful. It's a sport that's demanding on you mentally, physically, psychologically. There's so much that people need to understand. Here, my man KA gives you the answer. He says, uh, I learned the yellow watermelon is grown in Africa. Okay, so that's where it's from. Okay, you might see what I
Nice.
And also he says, everyone can't be a teacher in my own experience, but I understand. And also he says, um, you looked fascinating when you was competing. Not much hasn't changed, just a little compliment. So, do you ever think you might want to go back competing, or you think now you're content to where you're at now in your life?
As of right now, yeah, I have other goals, other aspirations. I'm focused on evolution. So what's going to evolve? How am I going to evolve? Not by doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, life is about evolution. It's about how we grew up, how we changed. Like I remember before my mom passed, I was always at 500 pounds. And then I sit there and say, you know what? I was spending so much time taking care of her and worry about her that I put myself to the side.
Mm.
I one thing you should know about me, I have a pacemaker. I had my first heart attack when I was 39 years old. I was in the cardiac unit for a week. And then 2 or 3 months later, I got my pacemaker surgery. And then, it wasn't that long ago, my mom got sick. And then I decided, you know what? She needs somebody. Everybody else was doing their own thing. I wasn't doing much. We lived together for a long time. My mom was my woman. I took care of her. She took care of me. And when I decided to start doing this content, something helped me with my mind because there was a lot of things. Her seeing her in the hospital, have to go, and sometimes she had like 4 seizures in like almost 4 years. Stroke. She was pre-diabetic. She was also getting to early age of dementia. And I decided, you know what, I got to take care of my mom. And then when she left and she passed, I said, you know what, I got to take care of me now. And then talking with women like yourself who are in the sport, was in the sport, I learned something about myself. I see some things that we share in common. Some things we might not share in common as much, but I learned what it takes to sacrifice you have to make and the decisions you have to make in your life. What's better for you than, let other people do what they want to do, but you got to do what's best for you and what helps you to, you know, just get your life better. Here we have a comment from a man, Kerry says, this from Davis. Davis Adams says, what's your favorite exercise workout? So you did yoga. What other exercise you do when you are working out? What's your favorites?
They're all my favorite. Depends what day it is. If it's leg day, legs my favorite. If it's shoulders, I love training. I've always loved training shoulders, delts. Biceps have always been my least favorite, funny enough. Yeah. So, but like I typically like they all have value. I love it all. If I were to do just one, I would get bored, right? And then I would not love it. I think it's the variety I absolutely love, and the and understanding that it's all involved in symmetry, and yeah, I love it all.
Yeah. Well, you're one of the few women who say they don't like biceps because that's weird, especially as a bodybuilder. But you're one of the few who say they love leg day. I'm saying that you're a freak because no one likes leg day. No, like you give them, you doing that, you undo the leg machines, the leg presses. Your legs feel like they're jello, and you're just like, oh no, it's okay, I can't take it anymore. But if you love something, you love it. My guess everybody has their own different opinions. You know, so as you are traveling the path of life and you're doing your own thing, what advice would you give somebody who's like kind of like in your predicament, who's saying, you know what, I did this for quite a long time and now I want to move on to something else? What would you tell somebody like that?
And tell them that that's a good place to be in, because and it is challenging. You're going to have an ego death and have to go through that. Um, but it's we're meant to master things, and then learn something new, and then master that and learn something new. That's what evolution. Death is death comes when you basically have no purpose, right? When you're not learning, when you're not doing anything new. We're continuously regenerating. So there's a lot of misconceptions about that you are genetically predisposed to things, but there's studies on epigenetics, which is above the genetics. It depends on the environment that you create. You're not destined to fall into your family's, you know, disease patterns if you break the patterns that cause the disease. You can break the patterns that cause the disease, and then you turn off the key. But that is, you have to do the different patterns, meaning you have to not feed your body the same foods, the same, and your brain the same thoughts. You have to break those patterns. So same thing when you're going into a different avenue in life. uh you once you're in a pattern for a while and you've mastered that pattern, you have to be like, then you come to a point where you're like, okay, is this pattern serving me anymore? It's no longer serving me. I need, like, you can become bored and stagnant. Your spirit wants to evolve. Your spirit wants to learn something new. It wants to experience new things. So we're not meant to, but a lot of people, their ego gets trapped into a pattern and an identity, and they think like, I've done this, this is who I am, I'm not anybody else. Well, you're not anybody, you're not any of the things anyways. You're not even that thing that you think you are. So like, realistically, you, in order to have a fun, fulfilled, passionate life, when things become are no longer passionate, then you have to relook at something new to light that passion, to like experience and get excited for. So it's a great place to be in, because you don't want to just go through life doing one freaking thing. I don't know, that's probably, that's one of like my "Ugh," things, fears, like, oh my God, I'm going to live this life and that's the only thing I would have had experienced in my life. I want to experience new things. I want to experience all that I can in
Mhm.
in a good way, that, where I'm actually truly obtaining wisdom and self-mastery.
Mhm. He have a comment from Kia. He says, Mandy could have been cast as Lucy movie instead of Scarlett Johansson. Remember that movie where the girl was
I
injecting the
love that movie.
stuff? And yeah, I saw that movie. It's pretty good.
I love that movie.
Also, yeah. Also, this is from KLA. He says, a woman that likes leg day is my kind of woman because she has thick legs. And also, this is from my man Vass. He says, do you think that FBB activity or not can be a relationship with an average man, or they mostly attracted to a man bodybuilders? Like, because you were in a relationship, your boyfriend that passed away, he was a bodybuilder. Your first, coach who was your boyfriend, and your husband competed too, or is he just, he was
No,
just
he
a
was
guy?
just an average guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So no, that's a misconception, dude. Guys, you guys got to get it out of your projections. You guys got to stop looking at this and start seeing people for who they are. Just because they look like something doesn't mean that all of a sudden this projected storybook idea that you think, all of a sudden you guys put that onto the female bodybuilders or whatever. They're humans, we're humans, but let's look at it. It's not about, it's like, how is there something that we can feel attracted to? Is there some way that we can relate? So if you are a lazy motherfucker and I'm an active person, we ain't gonna jive. Like, what kind of lifestyle are we gonna have? It's not because I look like a bodybuilder and you don't. It's because we're not compatible. It's about compatibility. It's not about looks. And it's like, okay, well, maybe so, I want someone who cares about their body and their health and loves themselves, and that actually wants to like learn and be active, like engage in life with. So like, those are the things that I find attractive, is like, do you care about learning and growing, and like, what are you passionate about? If you're passionate about something, like, to me, so passion is what's attractive. It's not how they look, it's how they operate and the energy that they're bringing into the world. So so that for me, there is no particular, I don't have he has to have blue eyes and 6'2" and he has to, no, it's about, okay, it's individualized. If there's something there that, I find, intelligence sexy, I find artistic people sexy, I find, like, people who are passionate about something. When they're passionate and you see that passion, that's what makes somebody sexy.
Yeah, I think most guys, especially guys who follow these ladies, it's the mindset they think that you have to look like your body, but you have to be fitness. But here's the thing: is it's about, I've known ladies who husband doesn't look like he's a body, but he ain't even left a day in his life. I know guys who dated women who didn't look like she was a model. She was just a nice lady. They met before he got into it, or they met when he was competing. And it's about finding someone you bond with, you click with. Relationships is important. I know a lady who she's a bodybuilder. Her husband looks like me. They're together for long. They get kids and they love each other and support each other. And that thing, it's important to find somebody who support what you do in your life. Who shares. They may not share your passion as much as you do, but if they can support you, your passion. Because I've known people who tell me that they lost friends because they got into the sport. Things it changed their life, and everybody went their own separate ways. But if those people were truly your friends, they accept that who the person you have become now, the person you were before. Here we got my man Voss. He says this. He says, Black Widow role, also Catwoman and Batman. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Because that's my favorite hero, Batman. Because why I like Batman, because he completes me. And also this is from my man Davis. He says, awesome. Shout out to him. And also this is from KLA. He says, do you get upset with the guy that is into female body? Because I think everyone is to blame for the fetish. That's just me. Well, here's the thing. I won't blame everyone. And if anything can be turned to a fetish. It doesn't have to be female bodybuilding. Guys be into, because doing content and this and talking to other people, anybody can take anything as a fetish. But I think with the female bodybuilding thing, it's really a small fetish. It has a small fan base. It's not as big. I think the guys, men's bodybuilding, have a bigger fan base compared to the women, because I know guys who told me that guys want foot fetish. Remember, I was watching a video I did a while back where we talked about how one guy was selling shirts because he was waiting for him to make a little change on his back. But it's all about the individual, what they want to do all their life, and what they feel like makes them happy or very comfortable. The choices they make. Also, this from man KLA says, attraction is a MF, but I have to get burned in many ways. Yeah, but so I have to. But you know what? It's about how the best way to say it. And I my favorite movie is the Batman Begins series, which starts out the Batman Begins starts the trilogy. Why do we fall? Because we learn to pick ourselves up. And sometimes you have to take a hits, and you keep rolling in life. It's tough. You have to really live your life. You can't let one thing just make you take you out of your space just because it was something that never happened for you. So, is do you still follow the sport, or you are now just from it?
Like yeah, I don't really, I mean, never, to be honest, I didn't follow the sport when I was doing it. Like, I didn't really like, I just focused on my own training and like looked at, certain specific competitors as inspiration. Um, and I just, looked at it as an art form. Really, it was really about creating art. Um, so no, I don't. Now I'm not really following it. No.
Yeah. Is there anybody that when like you say, you look at other competitors, what do you see when you see a certain competitor, especially if you say it's an art? What do you, in your mindset, what you see when you see somebody who's a bodybuilder or just a regular person, especially if they're working out? What do you see?
I look at symmetry, right? And then I see like at what like um I see so many people, even regular people, and I'm like, wow, they're so beautiful, and they have so much like uh like I can see how you could work with that physique and how you could like make like if they were to work out and train the right things and do these things like how beautiful their physique, the potential of their physique is. But also now I'm at a place where I even see just like other regular physiques as just absolutely beautiful. I think all bodies are an art, and they speak a story. Um, and but when I was looking at who I looked up to, was like, of course, it was Dana Lynn Bailey and Julianne McFarlane. Those are my two inspirations.